Hey, pre-notification gang. Coming along great, Rip. He's a resub apple. No, more Darkest Dungeon later. Thanks to resub Ano and Grizzbear. And Kitsune. Hey, when does Oppenheimer come out? Should be soon, right? Oh, I just saw that right before hopping on. Yeah, here, I'll pull it up. About the Silksong delay. Thanks to resub Tokyo, McDill, Brandon, VZ, Josu, Biffy, and the Prime Dodge 'em. You seen the Meg 2 trailer? Oh, I totally fucking forgot. I'll check that out in a little bit. Thanks to resub Ants, Shampoo, Guma, and Marshall. Here, let me queue up the Meg. Thanks for the 10 gift subs, why not? Appreciate that. Thanks for the big drop. Did you hear the Wall Street Bet mods made a crypto coin and pulled it as soon as it launched? I did not hear about that. Rough. He's a tier 1 Lancer. Next to resub Isaac and Slasher. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Isaac. I hope everything's alright. Thanks to the resub Elias and Ind and Fred. Congrats on the film theory cameo. What do you mean? Were they talking about my performance in the Hunger Games? You see that dude that killed a man by beating him with a bag of Pokemon card tins. You're making that up. No way. Oh my god, what? What is happening? What? Thanks to resub Eduardo, Tricky, Mully, and Danny. Man beats neighbor to death with bag full of Pokemon cards. That had to be like 50,000 cards for it to even be heavy enough for something like that. Unless you like sat there for 20 hours just pulverizing him with like a single booster box. After demanding his neighbor come out here and fight like a man, Hogue hit him numerous times with a bag filled with 5 tins of Pokemon cards, leaving the victim lifeless. Holy shit. He mauled him like Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy. He would later admit to officers that he got carried away during the attack and murdered him in cold blood. He also claimed that he tried to end his life in an act of mercy because he had already seriously injured Wilkinson by hitting him with a bag of Pokemon cards. This is an unhinged story. This actually sounds made up. You said Pigeon, Shooter, Curb, Toland, Skinny, Purewin, and the Bits Cuvante. And the Prime Bunity, Giovito, and the Gifts of Abigantimos. Judge Sarah Wright sentenced him to life in prison for a minimum of 17 years and recommended he be readmitted to Rampton Secure Hospital. The judge also warned about self-medicating with marijuana and alcohol. I mean, with a psychotic disorder, yeah, he probably needed something a little more powerful than a bottle of Jack Daniels and some fucking Scottish cheese. Or, not Scottish cheese, what was it called? Danky Wanky cheese? The one from Weed Shop 3, what was that strain called? Stupid cheese? You know what I'm talking about? What was that one called? That was like top of the line stuff. Oh my god, chat doesn't remember. No, it wasn't Wacky Tobacco. That's just like a normal name for it. What was that one called in Weed Shop? Like when you type in Weed Shop 3 cheese, the first thing that comes up is me playing Weed Shop. It was just called UK Cheese? No way, it definitely had a wackier name than that. Oh my god, wait, no, you're right. I must have crossed a bunch of strains in my head there. You're right. The Prime Simon and resub Crease Action Chalky Movie Idiot Doob Danny Gangster and the Prime Maleficent. Oh, super sweet, Jay, and I'm really sorry to hear about that. That's awful. There's the resub J Pink. This case is a stark reminder of the dangers of cannabis use, particularly with someone with such complex mental health history as yours. Who was the judge on this? Scrub McGruff? Like, what? This has nothing to do with cannabis use. This guy actually has a psychotic disorder and murdered his neighbor in cold blood with Pokemon cards. That has nothing to do with weed. In fact, on the day of the murder, I guarantee he didn't smoke. He's a tier 1 Lunative in the resub. Nifty in the Prime Jammo. What's that, Jack? I don't know what you're referring to with that album. Thanks a resub Dolly. In tier 1 Mari. Oh, I forgot about this. Last year, a man was killed by police after allegedly stealing Pokemon cards and pizza from a Target. Yeah, Pokemon... The bodies are piling up with Pokemon right now. But yeah, this is probably correct. It's probably the first time the Pokemon cards have been used as a murder weapon. I don't think Gambit's gotten his hands on Pokemon cards to take out any criminals or anything. So this is probably the first time the cards themselves have been a weapon. Weird ass case. Yeah. Well, at least he's facing life in prison, so. I mean, he fucking murdered a man over nothing. Over literally nothing. It is wild how often this is happening. This apparently happened in August. And was just sentenced. Thanks, the resub Wololo and the gift sub Karma. Did you enjoy the latest Linkin Park album? Oh, I loved it. So many unreleased tracks, and so many tracks that I used to download from LimeWire in terrible quality that they now released in high quality. Oh, it's so nice, yeah. And yeah, I heard about the hotel manager that was sucking guest toes. When chat brought it up the other night, I thought that was just exceptional service. But it turns out he was just sucking their toes while they were asleep. Nashville hotel manager charged after allegedly sucking on sleeping guests' toes, a sort of nightmare. I actually asked this question the other day to Matt and Danny and Chase. Do you think if you whisper into someone's ear as they're sleeping for long enough and often enough, you could actually influence the dreams they have? I wonder if the people that were getting their toes sucked while sleeping, if they had, like, related dreams about it. Dexter's laboratory? Was that something that happened in Dexter's lab? It just makes you pee? What? How? Like, if I whispered... Let's say I wrote down, like, an entire movie plot, and I just whisper all of it to someone as they're sleeping and just keep repeating it. Would that have any effect on their dreams? Would they start reenacting my movie plot in their dream? I wonder. One day I'll try and myth bust that. Manager of a downtown Nashville, Tennessee Hilton has been charged with aggravated burglary and assault after allegedly sucking on a male guest's toes while he was sleeping. Oh, was it just one person, or was he like a serial sucker? David Patrick Neal was arrested Friday after hotel guest Peter awoke at 5 a.m. to find the night manager indulging his apparent foot fetish. He's since filed a lawsuit against the hotel alleging sexual assault. Neal cloned the key to Brennan's room and entered during the early morning hours without knocking or announcing himself. What did he think was going to happen? You would absolutely wake up to someone, like, suckling your tootsies. Especially if you're ticklish. That'd be panic-inducing. I mean, it's panic-inducing regardless to have this creepy fucking weirdo at the end of your bed just sucking your toes. That's horrifying. Thanks to the resub Odin, Binky, Baby Blue, Chaos, and the Prime Chad. Brennan reportedly screamed when he found Neal sucking on his toes and immediately recognized him as one of the 2 hotel staff members who had been in his room the previous day to help him with his TV. Oh, this was premeditated suckling. He was plotting. And he didn't even wear a mask or anything. He didn't even hide his face. I would have expected him to come in with like a ski mask or something. He looks like someone who sucks toes. Yeah, it looks like his, like, life juice. That's what's been fueling him for the last, like, 10 years. Just a little bit of toe grease. Brennan filed a complaint with police following the incident, and Neal reportedly told officers that he entered Brennan's room because he smelled smoke and wanted to check on him for his safety. Neal did not report a smoke smell to hotel security, and no one else smelled any smoke. Well, it doesn't really explain away the toe incident. Like, I smelled smoke, so I had to investigate thoroughly, so I put each and every one of his little piggies in my mouth. And wouldn't you know it, no smoke. Where's my medal? I'm a hero. Them toes were on fire. Thanks to the resub Yulo, Minshi, Extreme, and the Prime, Eddie in Tier 1, Pate, and resub Flappy, and Mills. Thanks to the Bits Mills in Tokyo. He was trying to suck the smoke out of his toes. What a hero. Yeah, like a snake in its venom or something. We just don't understand his ways. He might have very well prevented a fire, and we wouldn't know it. We're too busy judging him. Tragic, the state of the world. All my life, you just have that sense of security and that sense of peace, right? It's not like you're camping and you have to keep one eye open, Brennan told the local outlet. You have that security that's yours, and when you close your eyes, you feel like you're safe and you're protected, and it was a complete violation. I mean, you're not wrong. The last thing you would expect at a hotel is someone to sneak in the middle of the night and go to work on your feet. I was just so shocked, Brennan said. It was, who are you? Why are you in my room? It was almost like a dream, a sort of nightmare. Just didn't make sense. Why is this person touching me? Upon further investigation, Brennan and his attorney, Michael, with Rocky Law Firm, found that Neil had a lengthy rap sheet that included a voluntary manslaughter conviction for shooting his roommate during a fight in 1996. That took a crazy turn. It almost sounds like Brennan got off easy with just a little bit of a happy ending on his toes. Wow. How is this voluntary? This feels like just murder, right? Well, I guess voluntary manslaughter might be the charge for like a heat of passion kill. But killing his roommate during an argument or a fight? Jesus. Multiple charges of forgery, drinking and driving, a manslaughter conviction as well, which served prison time. When Hilton hired this person, they had to have known. They had to have done background checks to know. And the fact that they would put somebody like that in a position where they have the ability to clone keys and have the ability to get into a guest's room. That's a great point. How the fuck did he land such a position at Hilton with a history of forgery, drinking and driving, and a fucking manslaughter charge for killing his roommate in an argument? Or a fight. This guy must have actually been sucking the toes of the person conducting the job interview. There's no other explanation. There's no way. Like, that's not an easy position to land, right? I imagine at a Hilton. That's still a pretty reputable place. More forgery. Oh yeah, he could have. Yeah, he could have spoofed his whole resume. Good point. Thanks to the resub None Lieutenant Beef and Tier 1 Shanus. And the resub Immoral. I don't know, Arrow. I'm not sure. Thanks to the Bits Azora. I don't know what that is, but I can check it out. And the Bits Mills and resub Mercy. Brennan reportedly suffered post-traumatic stress and struggled to get to sleep in the wake of the alleged toe-sucking incident. The safety and security of our guests and team members is our highest priority. We're working closely with the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, and as part of company policy, we do not comment on ongoing investigations. I am excited for the time they do, and apologize for the toe-sucking incident. Jesus Christ. That is something special. Wow. Wowee. Yeah, I mean, if that happened to me, you bet your sweet bippy I would not be staying at any hotels ever again. I'd just sleep in the car. But then even there, I'm not safe. Just have someone break into the car and just immediately start going to town on my feet. That'll put the fear of God in you real quick. Thanks to Tier 1 skill and the resub Pupper, Papa, Dark, and the Bits Arrow and Mills. If this happened to you, would you prefer if it was a stranger or someone you knew? Oh, that's tough. I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. If it was a stranger, at least I'd never see them again and press charges, go through the whole song and dance. But if it's someone I know, then there's like that wrestling with guilt. Like, man, I've been friends with this guy for how long? And he did this? Do I press charges? No, I definitely press charges. This is fucking weird, but you have that back and forth. So I'd say maybe a stranger. But then there's always going to be that lingering thought in the back of your head, like, what if he did more to me? Like, I was sleeping on my stomach that night, and I woke up and my ass was a little itchy. Like, I was a little sore. Could he have? No. But maybe. Like, there's still so much wiggle room for what ifs with a stranger. So I don't know, man. That's tough. Plus, my feet are super ticklish as well. Thanks to tier 1, Kyle, and the gift sub, Killa, and the resub cape. Oh, I have to see that one, Captain. I haven't watched it yet. You hear about the widow in Utah who wrote a book grieving her husband's death who was just charged with his murder. Yeah, we talked about that a while ago. That's pretty old, right? You're talking about that lady who used to write the murder mystery stories, and one of them was about, like, killing, how to kill your husband and get away with it, I think the title was. It turns out she did kill her husband. Thanks to resub Navajo. Bits AJ. I love the Balenciaga AI stuff, Jay. And don't get discouraged. I'm sure it'll start to look up soon. We're all rooting for you. Thanks to the resub, Carl and Cosby. Good to see you, Carl. Hope you're doing well. The book can't be reliable because she got caught. We talked about it on stream, but I guess I'll briefly bring it up since now we've mentioned it. There's an elderly woman. And she wrote a book called... What was the name of it? Oh, wait, this is a totally different story. How often does this happen? Woman who wrote book on grief following husband's death accused of his murder. This is not the one I was talking about at all. How common is this? The story I was talking about is this one. Called How to Murder Your Husband. And unsurprisingly, she murdered her husband. Thanks to the Prime Tape and the resub emu. Crazy. I know, that's... Who could have seen that coming? Yeah, they kind of got her dead to rights, too. They kind of pinned her whole location down on the day of her husband's death. It was fucked. If I remember correctly, her husband was like a culinary teacher, and she drove to the university he was teaching at and just shot him dead. And then drove away. If I remember correctly, I think she's also the same woman that tried to promote her book afterwards as well. But I might be getting her confused for somebody else. But yeah, no, that's the one I was talking about. I don't know anything about this. Utah woman who published a children's book on processing grief following the death of her husband last year has now been accused of poisoning him with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Wow. Holy shit. Did it take them this long to run like an autopsy, like a toxicology report? I feel like this would have immediately been a red flag, like, huh, died unexpectedly. An alarming amount of fentanyl. It's not exactly something that someone just ingests naturally. While appearing on Good Things Utah to promote her children's book, Cr said her husband died unexpectedly and alleged that Eric was poisoned by a lethal dose of fentanyl on the night of March 3rd, 2022. They were celebrating her closing on House for business that night, and she made Eric a Moscow mule in the kitchen and brought it to their bedroom, where Eric consumed it while sitting in bed. She alleged she went to sleep with one of their children who was having a night terror and returned to her and her husband's bedroom at 3 a.m., where she found him cold to the touch, supposedly attempting to perform CPR, but when first responders arrived, they advised that it had not appeared that she had done any CPR due to the large amount of blood that came from Eric's mouth. Jesus, this is so fucking morbid. Why? Why would she do this? Autopsy determined he died from a fentanyl overdose and that the level of fentanyl in his system was 5 times the lethal dosage according to the charging documents. It was illicit fentanyl, not medical grade, and that it was likely ingested orally. How did she not get caught sooner? Allegedly texted them asking for prescription pain medication for an investor who had a back injury. Left some hydro, okay. Ask for some of the Michael Jackson stuff. Ask specifically for fentanyl. It's been a long time since the Michael Jackson stuff. Was it fentanyl that got him? I don't think it was it? I thought it was like some other concoction. This is the resub Salty Jar Joe Blue in the tier 1 Ekin. Didn't O.J. Simpson write a book like this? O.J. wrote a book called If I Did It. Here's How, or something. But yeah, he did. Thanks to Bits Mills. He had the propofol. Okay. 3 days later, following a Valentine's Day dinner, Eric became very ill and believed he had been poisoned. Eric told a friend that he thought his wife was trying to poison him. Holy shit, that's terrifying. According to the search warrant, Eric took one bite of a sandwich his wife bought him that Valentine's Day, broke into hives, and couldn't breathe. He reportedly used an EpiPen and took Benadryl and passed out. When he woke up, he immediately called his business partner about the incident. Jesus. They advised he warned them that if anything happened to him, she was to blame. What the fuck? Why would this man stay here? Jesus. He even gave them like a... what are those called in movies? Like, if you're watching this, I'm already dead, and here's who it was. Like one of those, like, tapes. Oh, my. Prior to his death, Eric removed his wife from his will and life insurance and was looking into a divorce and wanted his kids taken care of. Couple also allegedly arguing over a nearly $2 million property she wanted to flip. The day after Eric's death, his wife allegedly signed the closing papers on the home. This is so ridiculous. January 2022, Corey allegedly updated her husband's life insurance policy with his business partner to make herself the sole beneficiary. The insurance company notified her husband and his business partner, and they changed it back to being each other's beneficiary. What a downright evil, evil woman. How long did it take for her to get arrested? I mean, judging by this article, it looks like almost a year, right? Which is wild that it took so long. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Fox. Appreciate that. And thanks to Tier 1 Elkin and the resub Diabolical, Cyrus, Kyber, Felipe, Jumping, and the Prime Immortal. The Bits Arrow. What kind of manipulative psycho writes a book about grieving after murdering someone? Just an evil, irredeemable person. I don't know, man. There's just real evil in the world. That's just the sad reality of it. He's the Prime Father. You hear about the guy using construction vehicles to steal an ATM? That's pretty common. That happens a lot, actually. They still are unable to get it open, but that does happen a lot. Thanks a gift sub Bob Ross and the resub Surgeonor. Damn, really? Man, we've covered a lot of those before. We don't have any old frogs in here, I guess. One of my favorites is the guy who used the excavator. This had a great angle of it. But yeah, you'd be shocked how often this happens. Look at that, the pinpoint accuracy and steady hand of a surgeon. He just drives away with it in the bucket. I actually forgot that he had a getaway driver. I very much remembered him taking off with it in the excavator. But I must be thinking of one of the other ones. Fits like a glove. See, it's as easy as just putting the square in the square hole, really. Yeah, that happens a lot. I love that shit. Thanks to resub weeb. You know you'll get arrested, why do you do it? Desperation, and as much as movies and shows try and portray otherwise, criminals are really fucking dumb. Like, actually super fucking dumb. Thanks to resub Nicole's. How much cash is in an ATM usually? A pretty decent amount, right? Isn't it like 25k or something? I think. Let me see. Oh, whoa! The average size ATM holds as much as 200,000. Jesus! Wow. You know, at that point, you might be onto something. Leasing the excavator and just rolling the dice. There's no way that's real. I mean, this comes from a site called Cam Power. I don't know what they know about ATMs, but it's just the first result. Here, let's go to another one. This one comes from NPR, and it corroborates, saying up to 200,000. Jesus. Thanks to the 2 gift subs, Kataria and the resub blue. Thoughts on the PewDiePie band channel? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I saw that. Here, let me pull it up here. I don't think they've announced why he was banned yet, have they? It was basically just a 24/7 infinite money glitch going through all of his content, farming ad rev, which is super smart. I mean, that used to be big on Justin TV. You had the, like, Angry Video Game Nerd 24/7, 4-player podcast. Like, it's very OG strats. And now PewDiePie brought that back to life, but then got banned today. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying they must have played the bridge clip, but I promise you they didn't play the bridge clip. That's just a meme. There's the Prime Corolla and the resub tree and gift sub Taz. Supposedly it's because of Yandere Simulator. I still don't really know how to say that word, but yeah, I know what game you're talking about. Is the Prime slacking? Give sub Taz and resub Lucas. What do you mean it's a meme? He actually said the word. What? No, the meme about the bridge thing. There's no way it made it into the loop. They had to curate what makes it onto this 24/7 thing. Plus, that clip isn't even on his channel. It was during a stream. It wasn't a video. So there's no way that would have made it onto the loop. I am very curious as to what caused it. I don't know what banned him. I have no idea. I think it was Kin, Cinnamon Toast Kin. I think he tweeted out that Twitch bought this. Like, they paid for this, for PewDiePie to do, like, an endless stream, endless loop. So it'd be weird if they actually paid for this and then banned him. But I don't know if that's accurate or not. I would trust Kin to know. Either way, it is pretty wacky. Thanks, you resub Kuya, Meggy, and the bits, Michael. And the resub Chody. Copilot took the money. No shot. If Copilot took all of the money from this, PewDiePie would be going after them guns blazing. That'd be the easiest slam dunk massive lawsuit ever. And PewDiePie wouldn't even have to do much for it. Any lawyer would be salivating if Copilot actually took the money from it. Going against their contract. So, no shot there. There's a bits Odin. Hasn't Twitch banned their official streams live before? Yeah, they have. Twitch banned themselves once. Do you guys remember that? I think it was Twitch Gaming got banned. I don't remember which one. But one of their official channels got fucking banned. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then maybe 200k was just like the upper echelon of ATMs than Jay. That would make more sense. Could have been a DMCA strike. Could have been. Maybe. There's the resub Lance. They banned Metallica, lol. I don't think they banned Metallica. Didn't they mute Metallica? Isn't that what happened? I know what you're talking about. It was like an official stream, official concert stream, and I'm pretty sure they muted it. I don't think they banned him. They muted and played folk music. Don't remember the folk music. Is your some cornbread in the gifts of Alex? I am so glad somebody brought this up, and I'm actually really shocked somebody brought this up in this community. You know, we're not exactly like the biggest on sports here. I've been recently getting back into the full swing of being a sports fan, mainly hockey and basketball. So the Ottawa Senators are up for sale. You may have seen quite a few big name celebrities bidding on the Ottawa Senators, such as The Weeknd, Snoop Dogg. Who's the other one? Let me see. It's a crazy... And Ryan Reynolds. The Weeknd, Snoop Dogg, and Ryan Reynolds are the three biggest right now. So, we had a banger idea of having me bid on the Ottawa Senators as well. So that way, when they're writing about all of these potential buyers, my name has to be put in here too. So we've been looking for the official channels to make a comically low offer. Absolute dog shit offer. Just for the sake of them having to put us on the books and maybe list us in these articles. It was an idea from Danny, and I thought that was such a banger. Like they're offering shit in the billions. Ours would be like in the hundreds. Like just like not hundreds of thousands, like literally like hundreds. just to have us in the conversation. I'm surprised somebody brought that up though. I thought that was such a great idea. You're going through the process of making the bid. That wouldn't work at all. Well, of course we wouldn't win the bid or anything, but going through the official channels of making the bid is already kind of an adventure in and of itself. It's not exactly something easy. So we thought that'd be like a fun thing to do. And then if it goes through, like if they do allow us to make a bid, we wouldn't disclose exactly what we'd be offering right away, I suppose, but just to see if they'd put our names in these reports about people bidding on the Ottawa Senators. There's probably a minimum. There has to be something in place to prevent that very same thing from fucking dumb idiots like us. I have no doubt. But it's worth at least trying. And imagine a world where, like, Ryan Reynolds is like, maybe I do want to go in with Charles. I'll spot him the other 999.99 million. Oh, I'd be a great fucking owner for the Senators. Especially Danny and Matt, too. They are huge hockey fans. They still play hockey. That was another thing we were talking about. They still do recreational beer league hockey. We were going to start streaming their games where I'd be their coach. We might still do that, but we'd be incredible owners. Incredible. God damn it. Why not bid high, but just Why not bid high, just not the highest? Long as you don't win, you're good. Yeah, you might be right. Might have to. I'd just be extremely fearful if for some reason something happened and we'd have to follow through on the bid. We just couldn't afford it. Thanks to the resub Moxie and the tier 1 JPR. The bits Arrow and the resub Magno and Carson. Probably going to need proof of funds to submit a bid. Yeah, there's going to be something in place. But the whole process would be the fun, the adventure, and if we somehow are able to pull off like an actual official bid on their books, that'd be a fucking W. Thanks to the resub Cole. Who do you think will get it, though? Legitimately, Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is making nothing but W business moves. Not only is he like an extremely recognizable, extremely marketable celebrity who's absolutely got a stranglehold, a fucking vice grip on the balls of the mainstream mind, all of his ads go viral for Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile as well. He just sold Mint Mobile, and I guarantee he's still getting residuals. He sold it for what, billion plus? It's not even his brand. He was just like an owner of it and the face of it. Everything he's done is so fucking smart, and he has so much to offer anything that he joins. Not that The Weeknd doesn't, but Snoop Dogg I think has no shot. Snoop Dogg puts his name on anything that pays him even like $50. You will find Snoop Dogg on every single thing ever. Dude was fucking pumping NFTs for a little bit, like actual dog shit NFTs that had no chance. So I don't think Snoop has a shot. Yeah, FaZe got honey dicked into signing Snoop Dogg as well and giving him a seat at the cap table. There's no shot he wins the Senators bid. But I think Ryan Reynolds probably will, but The Weeknd does have a chance. He's a resub tincture, Verona, Zetherol, and shit. Wait, what do you mean change his name for the MWL? I'm a little confused. Snoop and The Weeknd are part of a three-man team. Oh, are they going in together? I assume that they were competing bidders with the way that it's written here. Because it says join separate bids. Or did you see that they're together on it? Oh, this is no fun. They're not actually interested in the Ottawa Senators. They're interested in owning a professional sports franchise. You see, that's where we'd be different. You know, my offer might not be in the billions, but the offer comes with heart. I'm afraid of flying, but I'd fly out to Ottawa. I'd be at the games. We'd set up a brick and mortar shop to celebrate or something. I don't know. We'd do a lot for Ottawa. But yeah, they're probably right. They don't give a fuck about the Senators or anything. Oh, wait, Reynolds brought the floundering but historic Wrexham Association Football Club in 2021. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. The documentary series about the Welsh football team Welcome to Wrexham is something Post Media reports Reynolds would like to replicate with the Senators. Oh, so he's coming with the documentary team. Man's rolling in deep with the content pipeline. Is the resub Pugs, Zimbiji, Chris, CLM, and the Prime Waifu. And got promoted. It's a huge accomplishment. That's awesome. No, I didn't know that. That's the first I've heard of that. Oh, thanks for the big 10 gift subs again. Why not? Thank you for that. Thank you for the generosity in the tier 1 gym. The Wrexham story is indeed awesome. I'll have to check out that documentary. Thanks, Resub Bean. Thanks for another 10 gift subs. Why not? Thank you for that, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I saw Silk Song got delayed. I saw that right before starting stream. I had a feeling. I think everyone knew that this was going to happen. One day it'll come out. One day. We had planned to release in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. We're excited by how the game is shaping up, and it's gotten quite big, so we want to take the time to make the game as good as we can. Expect more details from us once we get closer to release. Yeah. Thanks to the resub, Estavo. Better to not be rushed. I agree, but there's also a fine line you have to walk. A fine line you have to walk between development hell and prolonged polish. Development hell. We actually just talked about this with Redfall. When something gets into development hell, it almost always ends up being shitty. I can't think of a game that fully entered development hell and wasn't dog shit. There's none that come to mind. The most notable being, of course, Duke Nukem Forever, Aliens, Colonial Marines, Cyberpunk. And there was one more right off the top of my head. Redfall. Duh. Fucking Redfall. Oh, and Dead Island 2. It's really a death sentence for a lot of games. Development hell ruins them. There's very few times where development hell ends up being okay. Thanks for 10 gift subs again. Why not? You've been so generous tonight. Thanks to the bits. Hole Finder and Arrow. TF2 took 9 years. I didn't know that. Holy shit. Was that development hell though, or did they just really spend a lot of time like polishing that game? That's why I said there's a fine line between like a prolonged polishing period and adding to it and development hell. Development hell is something very different where you have things like, we'll use Dead Island 2. Fucking basically firing teams, a ton of movement throughout development, keep pressing things down the line, down the pipeline, and just having a lot of turmoil and restarting and starting, restarting, scrapping, starting, scrapping, that kind of shit. It's very different. Is the resub scatter? The bits arrow. Doesn't sound like Hollow Knight's in that process though. No, hopefully not. I was just saying, like, I get worried about things like that when it's like 20 delays in a row. It's like, damn, really hope that the behind the scenes isn't fucking trash. VTN Bloodlines 2 was supposed to release 3 years ago, but it keeps getting handed off to different studios. Oof. That is always a death sentence for games. There's a resub tray. Do you believe in Beyond Good and Evil 2? No. I want that game so bad, but I don't know if it's ever actually coming out. Knights of the Old Republic remake is in development hell. Isn't that fully halted? I thought for sure they put the kibosh on that. Didn't they make a whole statement about how it's indefinitely development is indefinitely suspended? Is the bits butter? I didn't know that, butter. That's an interesting history. I think Skull and Bones has been delayed how many times? 4 now? I forgot about that game. That's Ubisoft, right? That's like all they got left. There's the Prime Outcast. LA Noire was in development hell. It took forever to make and killed the company that was making it. I'm genuinely shocked you forgot about that. It was a little bit deeper than that. I forgot about development hell, I'm not going to lie. But I remember when the game came out, what killed the company was more Take-Two, right? They got into that big dispute with Take-Two, I thought. Let me double check. But yeah, I mean, the studio closed shortly after. That was their final breath. Yeah, Team Bondi. I did not like that game at all, Arrow. Thanks to the Prime Raven. That's cool, Halo. I didn't know that. Hollow Knight was amazing. And I'm optimistic Silksong will be just as good. Just saw they're making another Amnesia. They should just let it rest. Yeah, the last one wasn't very good, huh? Thanks to resub Fanta. That's huge, Kachow. Glad to hear that. Thanks to the Prime demos. Do you think esports is dying? What needs to change to ensure its success? Esports isn't dying. It's just the orgs and their strategy has very clearly not been working, and it's all starting to bubble over all at once. We've talked about this a lot. I won't go into it again. My whole spiel. But yeah, that like endless spending and constant inflation in the industry has popped the bubble. So now all of these orgs are losing so much money. And they're having to close and re-strategize. I mean, wouldn't esports die if there's no orgs to take part? Nope. As long as the developer of the game wants an esports scene, there will always be an esports scene, even with no orgs in there. Players will play for the love of the game. Always have. Look at Smite. Smite's a great example. There's not a single goddamn org in Smite. And their events pop. I'm gonna give sub baseball and the resub Kohaku and the Prime Demon. That is a very interesting fact. I didn't know that, Arrow. Hear the news about Sum 41 disbanding. The real news is that they were still together. I didn't know that. I like Sum 41's old work. I didn't know they were still putting out anything new. So when that came out, I was like, oh wow. I had no idea. Canadians are fucking devastated. They were an incredible band, but their music posts, what was it? Was it Chuck? I think it was Chuck. Or hold on, let me look at their discography real quick. Yeah, it looks like Chuck. Well, even Underclass Hero, their following album, was still a pretty big one. But after that, they just kind of fell out of the public eye. But it looks like they made albums like at least once every 4 years. They never really stopped. I just stopped hearing about them. Exhibits Phantom. Yeah, I've made a couple videos on it, Phantom, on the Moist Charlie Clips channel. You think Halo Infinite will recover to be a great AAA game, or is that ship sailed? Ship sailed. But I do think it can at least become a good game. But I don't think it's ever going to be a big AAA game. It's way too late. If Starfield fails, Xbox is done. Brother, Phil Spencer's like, yeah, our console will never win the console wars. We can't out console Sony or Nintendo. I don't think they're ever gonna like give up on it, but they very much understand they're more of like a novelty kind of console now, not something serious in the gaming space. Which is a real shame. You hate to see that. They still make money off Game Pass in the PC space. Yeah, Game Pass is still successful. Game Pass is an absolutely amazing service, but the Xbox as a console is just fucking worthless. I'm not exaggerating. I got the Xbox on launch week, and I've turned it on one time to play the Medium, which was such a fucking stinker. I almost fell asleep on stream, and I haven't turned it on since. There is no reason to play on Xbox. There's nothing there. Thanks, resub GG. We play more Darkest Dungeon 2? Yeah, we're gonna play more of that tonight. That's why the title's The Misery Continues. But then there's like so many stories that I wanted to go over. Thanks, resub Polybridge. And the 5 gift subs, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. And the 5 gift subs, Baseball. Appreciate that. Will you moist meter Darkest Dungeon 2? I might. We'll see how long it takes me to finally finish all the acts. I'm fucking struggling. The game is hard. Thanks for resub, TG. I left when Dismas was injured. What happened there? Oh, I've lost like 5 runs. I haven't even finished the first chapter of the first act yet. It's hard. It's fucking brutal. It's very different from the first game and how I remember it. I was kind of cruising in Darkest Dungeon 1. Darkest Dungeon 2, I'm getting absolutely disciplined. I'm gonna hop in now. Now I've got the itch. But I'm trying to avoid looking up like